Now, so we'll start with الدرس الثاني عشر, 12 lessons. It says كاف المخاطب. كاف المخاطب. So this is something that we've already done. Okay, so some part of this lesson would be sort of like a review. And what he's talking about is he's talking about this kaf. You know, the ka that we had, the kitabuka. So this is a ضمير متصل for anta. We already have seen this one now. Yes. So he says كاف المخاطب. It is ضمير للمخاطب. It is a pronoun for مخاطب. Now, as you can see, this kaf, he's talking about this particular kaf. So he will later, here, he will talk about both mudhakkar and muannath. Because as you know, this kaf with the fatha is a mudhakkar and with kasra is muannath. Now, when you say dhamir lil mukhatab, when you say dhamir lil mukhatab, we specifically talk about kaf with fatha. Because mukhatab, this word is masculine. So when we say this is a pronoun for addressee, and the addressee is, mudhakkar, masculine, so we are specifically talking about ka. But if he said dhamir lil mukhataba with ta marbuta, if he had ta marbuta, then we talk about kaf with kasra. Anyway, he will talk about both of these things here. So he says dhamir lil mukhatab lil mudhakkar, so for masculine. You see how many times these words are coming. So I'm pretty sure by now these are just, simple words for you. We have masmuka. So this is the one. Naam, what is your name? As you know, we've talked about this one. This is mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Meaning idafa phrase. Kayfa haluka ya abi? How are you? Kayfa means how. So when you say hal, hal is one word. So we have halun. It is state, state or situation. Okay. So when you say kayfa haluka, what is your state? What is your situation? That is a literal meaning. Now, but when you just, translate, what it means is this: how are you? How are you? Ya abi, or my father. As you can see, so this kaf is what he's talking about. So this is you're asking to a masculine person. Baituka jamilun. Your house is beautiful. Naam, simple stuffs. Alaka hadha al-qalam ya Khalid. So this is Hamzatul Istifham. Laka, for you. Remember, we talked about la has many different meanings. We had li when we talk about that I have something. So here means does it belong to you? So alaka hadha al-qalam, is this pen belongs to you or is this pen for you? Ya Khalid. So that is your dhamir mukhatab lil mudhakkar. As I said, when you say dhamir mukhatab, yeah, you don't have to say mudhakkar here. For example, here he says dhamir al mukhatab lil muannath. You could have said dhamir al mukhataba. Then you don't even have to say this one because it is feminine. So you know, and it is also singular. So you know that this is, you're talking about kaf with kasra. So ضمير المخاطب للمؤنث meanings for feminine. We have masmuki. What is the difference? Difference is this haraka. Naam. As you can see, it is just the haraka. Masmuka, masmuki. Kayfa haluki ya ummi? How are you, mother? Okay, baituki jamil. So every one of them are the same example, but he's using ضمير المخاطبة. Alaki, okay, هذا القلم يا فاطمة. Right, some very simple things, we have talked about them, so I'm not going to spend so much time. We had these pronouns before, ana wa anta. So these are, remember, these are muttasil. This kaf is muttasil. Okay, muttasil. And this is munfasil. Munfasil. They are separate. So these are your detached pronoun. Even though the book did not talk like this, but I'm introducing this terms because I'm pretty sure some of you probably heard them when you study, Quran or Tajweed. So we have أنا ضمير للمتكلم. So أنا is ضمير for the first person, the one who's speaking. As you know, this one can be for مذكر or it can be مؤنث. Okay, so أنا you can use for مذكر or مؤنث. أنت ضمير للمخاطب. So أنت is ضمير for second person. أنت is for masculine. This is something you already studied. So let us just quickly go through them. المتكلم المذكر والمؤنث. So speaker who is masculine and feminine, we use أنا for both of them. So you say أنا طالب and you can say أنا طالبة. أنا محمد. أنا خديجة. نعم. And أنت is for مذكر. You say أنت مهندس. أنت طبيب. من أنت? Who are you? أنت مدرس. Are you a teacher? So all of them, as you can see, for masculine. You say أنت for feminine. أنت مهندسة. And as you can see, I explained to you how easy it is to change especially some kind of adjective and some nouns into a feminine just by adding ta marbuta. So muhandis is a masculine engineer and muhandisa is a feminine engineer. Tabib is masculine doctor. Tabiba is feminine doctor. You should be very comfortable how you add this ta marbuta by now. Man anti mudarrisa, again, you just add ta marbuta and you make it into feminine. Makes sense? No. So these things are very easy. You've done it. But what the book starts from this lesson number 12. Book will start to give you some verb conjugations. Okay, so this is where you get a little bit of taste of the verb and its conjugations. So far, all the verbs that we have seen, we saw it. For example, we saw the verb ذهب, and we said this is in the past tense, which is went. But who went? When you see three-letter verb, and nothing is attached to it, then this is your masculine. So he went. Okay, naam. So when he says dhahaba, he went. We have kataba. Kataba meanings he wrote. I think we had, I'm not sure if we had kataba before, but what about kharaja? I'm pretty sure we had this one. Kharaja. Again, it would be he left. Yes, he left or he went out. I think we also had dakhala. Naam. What is dakhala? He entered. He. So remember, when you have verb in this form, it is always he. This pronoun, the verb pronoun, it is built in. You cannot extract pronoun out of the verb. Okay, the pronoun is there. So now, as you know, when you say dakhala means he entered, but we can also specify who that he is. Okay, we can specify by saying Muhammadun. Muhammadun. So now we say Dakhala Muhammadun. So it is he, but who is that he? He is connected to Muhammad. So this is your doer file. Inshallah, we'll talk about these things very soon. But here, as you can see, we are specifying. But if we don't specify, then we go back to the pronoun. Fahimtum? So, but can I say Dakhala Fatima? Fatima too. Why not? Because as we mentioned to you, yes, so this word, this verb, dakhala, it is he. So you cannot say he went, then I say he is Fatima. So it doesn't work. The pronoun is not going with the name of that person, the noun. So that's why we cannot say dakhala Fatima. So what do we do? And this is where the lesson starts. So it is called ta'nithul fa'il. So ta'nithul fa'il. So few terms. Ta'nith, this word you will always you will also hear a lot. So this is ta'nith, you can think about feminine. Feminine. So making it into female or feminine or female, it has this term. So file, here's another important term. File is the doer. Sometimes in English we call it subject, but we don't want to call the subject because you may get confused with the subject and predicate for the nominal sentence. Okay, but in English we can say subject and object for the verbal sentence, but I think the better term would be for us, at least, would be the doer. So what do we mean by the doer? Doer means the one who's doing the action, which is the subject. But we will just use the term doer just to remove any confusion. So whenever we say doer, we're talking strictly, as you can see, the do is there. We're talking about the verb, person who or someone who is doing the action. So file, this is a very important term. No escape from it. You have to learn. So now if we say who is the file here, for example, kataba means he wrote. If I ask you who is the file, you see I'm using the term who is the file, what would you say? So who is the doer? Who's doing this writing action? He, ahsant. What would be in Arabic? You say huwa. Yes. So he, the doer is huwa. Why did you see huwa? I don't see any huwa. Huwa is inside, built in. We have to understand. So now we want to learn how do you say how do you make the doer into a feminine? So this is what the author will talk about right now. الفاعل هو الذي وقع بعد الفعل. So now وقع يقع بعد الفعل. So what does it mean? What does it mean? He's saying الفاعل هو الذي يقع بعد الفعل. So the file is the one, هو الذي, he is the one. This الذي, you have to get very used to them. So he is the one. يقع بعد الفعل. So this placed after the verb. What does it mean? That the file will always come after the verb. So we say ذهب, then we say Muhammad. Muhammad. So you see, you have the verb here, then comes the doer file. So from this definition, remember, this is a definition. So by this definition, tell me, can I say Muhammad ذهب? First of all, tell me, can I say Muhammad ذهب? Somebody wrote Muhammad ذهب, what would it mean? I can translate. It would be Muhammad went. Or you can say Muhammad, he went, however you want to say it. So what's wrong with this? Looks like it's a good sentence to me. So why can I say Muhammad ذهب? Again, the question is it good Arabic? Is it a complete sentence or not? It is good Arabic. It is a complete sentence. So he just said that file is the one that has to come after ذهب. So what's going on? So the question is Muhammad file. Is Muhammad doer here? No. So according to definition, this is a good sentence, but just looking at the strict definition perspective, we have to say that this cannot be the file. It could be something else, but this is not file. This is not the doer. So if it is a sentence, if this thing is a sentence, when we say Muhammad dhahaba and we're saying this is not file, so what is Muhammad then? Yes, it is what? Mubtada ahsanti. So this becomes what? It becomes nominative sentence. Remember, that's two types of sentence. We talked about them. If the sentence starts with a noun, then it is a nominal sentence. So then what are the parts of nominal sentence? We talk about mubtada and khabar. There's no file, there's no verb. And then when we start with the verb, like this one, ذهب سعيد, so we are starting with the verb, so this is a verbal sentence. So verbal sentence, we cannot have file before coming the verb. So if we do bring the doer, then it becomes nominal sentence. So here we say this is mubtada and this whole sentence is khabar. So then again, I still have to come back here. We need to have a doer. Remember, every single verb, remember this carefully, every single verb needs to have a doer, and the doer is always there. So who would be the file here? because I just removed the Muhammad and now I'm telling you Muhammad cannot be the fa'il because the definition says that it has to come after the verb, and we said that this is mubtada, then I still need to know the doer. So we have these verbs floating around. So who is the doer? Huh? The doer goes into the hidden pronoun, which is huwa. So a little bit complicated things, but I don't think it's super complicated. Inshallah, you will get used to them. Main thing that you need to know, few things that you need to know, I'm going to write it down. All verbs has what? Pronoun. Pronoun built in. All the verbs. And which makes it easy for us to say all verbs must have what? A doer, fa'il. So these are must. All verb must have a doer, because if we don't have explicit doer, guess what? Then we know that the verb will have a pronoun inside already. So we can easily extract that pronoun. So that is what he's talking about. The fa'il is the one that comes after. But and as you can see, this is a very interesting definition, because if we just say the fa'il is the one who does the action, the way we understand, for example, if we were to say fa'il is the one who does the action. The reason why the grammarian doesn't want to write like this, because if I say Muhammad dhahaba, who is the one who's doing action? It is still Muhammad, right? Muhammad is the one who's doing action. So, but then we will have a problem with this definition, right? Because we know that the Muhammad is, which is true, the actual fact is that Muhammad is the one who's going, but because it is coming front of the verb, now it is not a fa'il, it is mubtada. So we cannot just simply blankly say that the fa'il is the one who does the action. You will be right in meaning perspective, but you would be wrong, at least technically wrong, from the grammatical perspective. Because grammatical, the one who does action, meaning perspective, I can bring them, that person first, like here, Muhammad dhahaba, or I can say after the verb, I can say dhahaba Muhammad. So the meaning will be still the same. The Muhammad is the one who's doing action. But one would be mubtada, another one would be fa'il. So very important point. So that's why he is, now you know why he's talking from that perspective. Because the ruling would be different than the mubtada and the fa'il. Okay, so their grammatical ruling would be very different. So it's very important definition indeed. Make sure you know that fa'il always comes after the verb. It doesn't have to be right after the verb. There can be other nouns or other things, and the fa'il can be later. Only thing he's saying, it cannot precede the verb. So for example, if I say dhahaba ilal masjidi Muhammadun. So as you can see, dhahaba ilal masjidi. So these things are additional information between the verb and the doer. So that is possible. He's not saying that it has to be right after the verb. Only thing he's saying is that it has to come after the verb, some place after the verb. Okay, some location after the verb, meaning it cannot precede here. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Hopefully it makes sense, because this point is very important. So for example, he says here, kharaja Muhammadun. So kharaja is the fi'l, naam, and Muhammad is fa'il. Now, he did not mention here, but I will just mention it anyway. I don't know if the reason why he's not mentioning, because the book did not use the terms marfu, majrur, and mansub yet, but we have worked on it. So, okay, so we are comfortable with those terms now, because in the last lesson, I explained to you. So what would you say about fa'il with regards to grammar? What is the state? What is fa'il? Yes, fa'il would be marfu. Okay, just like mubtada, fa'il is also marfu. We can say dhamma state, but the better term is the marfu. So fa'il, as you can see, it will always take dhamma. So from here, how would you know where's the fa'il? You'll know fa'il because you're still looking for a dhamma. If the word has a dhamma, then it is marfu. That means then this is fa'il. Makes sense? Inshallah, we'll see other examples to make these things more clear. He did give more examples. He says, ذهب سعيد. So, ذهب is the verb and سعيد is fa'il. So, we have خرج أخي. So, my brother left. As you can see, it should have been a Dhamma, right? In last class, I explained to you, it should have been a Dhamma because we just mentioned the file. This is a file. File must be marfu. But why isn't it Dhamma? Again, I'm keep on reminding you, when you have the mutakallim, it always takes a kasra. Now comes what? Now comes, you want to say, I'm going to remove some of these things. So now then, how do we say about she left? So ذهب was that he went. So how do we say she went? I think someone pointed out before. It is very simple. We just add a ta with sukun. Very simple. At the end, only thing you have to do is add ta with sukun. So what do we say? We say ذهبت. ذهبت. See, there's no changes. Just this ta is very simple. Ta with sukun is very simple. No other changes to the end. You just add it. It's not like ta marbuta where you have to change the haraka, this and that. This one you just add. The other one you may have to change a little bit, but this one is fairly simple. Just add. So it's dhahabat. So now this ta is, they call ta ta'nith. This is the feminine ta. So now it would be easy for you to change the verb that we had. For example, we have kataba. Kataba, he wrote. So how would we say she wrote? Huh? We add ta. What do you say? Katabat. Kata. Katabat with the sukun. She wrote. Fahamtum? Very simple. So this is what they're showing you. Kharajat. So here you say amena too. If you don't say amena, then we know kharajat. It cannot be that he left. You cannot be confused here because it's very explicit. Kharajat aminatu. So you cannot say kharajat Muhammad. Make sure you understand here. So kharaja Muhammad, kharajat amina. So you say fi'l and fa'il. نعم. So here we have خرجت أمي, ذهب الطالب, and we have ذهبت الطالبة. So what's going on here? Why do we have a kasra here? Why do we have a kasra here? We just learned that it is sukun. Yes, this is for reading purpose. Remember, anytime we have a sukun at the end of any word and then we have alif lam or hamzatul wasl, we will have a problem. We won't be able to pronounce. So these are the situation we put a kasra. Is same thing as we give you example, mani rajul. Is the word is man, but we will need to put a kasra to make it fluent. So this kasra is coming for the pronunciation, not for the conjugations, because you will see when you put kasra on the ta, it has a different pronoun. Okay, it is dhahabat at-talibatu. The female student went. So very simple. Now, we will come back to this verb. From now on, every lesson, the author will introduce more conjugations, more pronouns. How do we say? For example, right now, only thing we know how to say, he went, she went. I don't know how to say you went, they went, I went. We don't know this. So the author will introduce these conjugations bit by bit, inshallah. And also remember that we're only dealing with past tense. This book will not touch the present tense, especially with regards to conjugations. Now, the next topic is alladhi and allati. And I mentioned to you, this ismul mawsul are difficult, so you have to get used to their usage. He says, الذي اسم موصول للمفرد. Okay, الذي is what? Relative pronoun. Relative pronoun. Like who, which, that, which, who, this type of relative pronoun. But الذي is for للمفرد. It is for singular. للمذكر. It is for للمذكر for masculine. للعاقل وغير عاقل. So alladhi we can use for, it has to be singular, it needs to be masculine, but it can be for aqil, meaning human being, and non-human being. Not a problem. Now, and then we learn now that allati, it is same thing, but only difference is that it is still for singular, but it is for feminine, lil muannath. Again, for aqil and ghair aqil, human being or non-human being. So now he will give you some example. So al-ismul mawsul al-mudhakkar al-aqil. So here he's giving you example of this relative pronoun for masculine and which is human being. So we have al-fata. What is al-fata? Al-fata is young boy. Okay, this is masculine. Al-fata alladhi. See, you are saying alladhi. You cannot say allati here because allati is for muannath. You have to say alladhi. Fata alladhi kharaja al-ana ibnu ammi. So I'm keep on telling you, you guys have to get very comfortable reading these things. If you don't understand, you will not know how to translate. Where do you take the break? Which one is the predicate? Which one is the subject? Because it's pretty difficult. So one way is that you can try to translate and see what it makes sense. Another way would be use some techniques. So we have Fata alladhi, the young boy who kharaj al-ana, who left now, is Ibn Ammi, is my, what is Ibn Ammi? Be careful. What is Ibn Ammi? So Am is uncle. Yes, Am is uncle. So what is Ammi? My uncle. So what is Ibn? Huh? Ibn is son. Yes, exactly. It is cousin. So in Arabic, they don't have any word for cousin. So they have to say son of my uncle. Okay, so Ibn Ammi is cousin. Make sense? So, so the boy who left now is my cousin. So Ibn Ammi would be my cousin. Make sense? Honestly, you have to read this type of sentence with Ism Mawsul and practice a lot. And another one is Mani Rajul Alladhi Jalasa fil Hadiqah. You see, man should be sukun here, but we're taking kasra because of alif lam. So Mani Rajul Alladhi. So why saying Alladhi? Because Rajul is masculine. Who is the man who jalasa fil hadiqa, who sat in the garden. So then we have ismul mawsul al mudhakkar ghair aqil. So now he will give you example of relative pronoun which is not a human being, which is an object. So we say al qalamu alladhi. Same thing. You said al rajul alladhi. You can say al qalam alladhi. Qalam is object, but we still can use alladhi. So you say al qalamu alladhi ma'aka maksurun. So you see, you need to know where to put the break. It is not easy. It is a technique that you have to learn. Al-qalamu alladhi ma'aka maksurun. The pen which is with you is broken. Okay, one way to think about, which I mentioned a little bit last time, is that alladhi will always be definite. Okay, it will always describe something that is definite. Okay, so as you can see, so you have al-qalam is definite, alladhi is definite. And when you have alladhi, just try to find the part that belongs to the alladhi, which is the harder part, to be honest with you. But once you find, then you will see another noun that is indefinite. So now you know that this is where the break happens, because I told you alladhi is an adjective. So if I remove this whole part, what happens? Do we have a sentence? Yes, we have a mubtada and khabar. Al-qalamu maksurun. Lesson 1. The pen is broken. So what is alladhi is doing? Alladhi is just coming describing the pen. So this is coming as an adjective. So this is how you have to kind of like find where to make the break. Again, it's still not easy. It doesn't work like this all the time, but inshallah you will get hang of it. The question is about how do we know the difference between na'at and badal. Some people who doesn't know what badal is, inshallah, I think the author will talk about later. Just to answer your question is the badal would be another noun. Okay, because you know the adjective cannot be a noun. Adjective has to be an adjective. The badal will be another noun. So for example, when you say hada ar-rajul. So this ar-rajul is not an adjective. Rajul is a noun. That's why this is a badal. هذا الرجل واقف, let's say, or جالس. So this man is sitting. So this is one way to find the difference between them. And now, then we have لمن الكتاب الذي على المكتب. For whom this book, see, الكتاب الذي على المكتب, which is on the desk. There are a lot of examples. Please do read them. Think about the structure. Get used to them. Now we have al-ism al-mawsul al-mu'annath al-aqil. So now we'll deal with the feminine relative pronoun. So we have al-fatatu. This is the female version of al-fata. Okay, al-fata is masculine young man. Al-fata two with the ta marbuta, it is what? It is female young woman. So we say al-fatatu allati kharajat al-ana bintu ammi. See, if you read this similar sentence few times, you will start to pick up the structure. He give you same thing in just two different gender. So it's a very good thing. So you should think about these two. So we say al-fatatu allati kharajatil ana. Again, the reason why we have a kasra here because of alif lam. Bintu ammi. What this sentence is saying is this young girl who left right now is my cousin, female cousin, obviously. من المدرسة التي جلست في الحديقة. So who is the teacher? مدرسة two. So this is female teacher. التي. Now you cannot say الذي because this is a female teacher. So you say التي جلست في الحديقة. Who sat in the garden. As you can see, this is adjective because you know this is definite, right? This is definite and this is also definite. Why is it definite? Remember, all the pronouns are definite. So any types of pronoun, whether it is normal pronoun like he, you, I, or demonstrative pronoun, hada, hadihi, or relative pronoun, you know, that, which, whom, these are all definite. So as you can see, both of them are definite. And this is feminine, okay? And this has to be also feminine. And this al-mudarrisa is singular, and allati, you will learn that. What do you mean you will learn? You just learn that this is for singular. Lil mufrad. Okay, so we cannot use allati for plural. So you know this is also singular. You know, this is right now is in a marfu state, in the dhamma state, but we cannot put any dhamma. We cannot change any pronouns, which I mentioned to you last time, that huwa, we cannot change the ending. So any pronoun, we cannot change ending. So here we cannot change ending, but we know this is in the Dhamma state. So as you can see, it is following your standard rule of the adjective phrase. So this is indeed an adjective. Now he will give you an example of al-ismul mawsul al-mu'annath ghayru aqil. So non-human being, we have as-sa'a, which is watch, as-sa'atu allati ma'aka maksura. Same example, as you can see, this is very nice how he is doing this because we can relate to these two things, and also we are learning the gender issue. So we have this is feminine, and we describe this one as a feminine, and you just have to know which is the part that connects the whole ism mawsul. I'm not going to define the parts of ism mawsul. Inshallah, we will study them later. And as you can see, this is a predicate, and the predicate also, what we learned that the predicate also has to match the gender of the subject. So khabar has to match the gender of the mubtada. So now we cannot say maksur. Here we were saying maksur because it was al-qalam. Okay, it was what? It was al-qalam, which is masculine. Now here we're talking about as-sa'a, which is feminine. So we say maksura. Again, if you remove the whole thing, we have as-sa'atu maksuratun. Perfect sentence. Then we have limanil haqibatu allati ala al-maktab. For who is this bag Okay, liman is always for who or for whom is this bag, which is on the desk. Okay, I hope you are comfortable with translating these things. For whom is this bag, which is on the desk? As you can see, in English, we have to add a lot of words to make it into a complete sentence. So this is not easy. You should really do some exercises on this. And finally, he says, ذهبت الطالبة. It says asluhu is original is dhahabat with sukun, which I explained to you, dhahabat at-talibatu. But then we have alif lam, which has a sukun, dhahabat, which has a sukun, is problem. Iltiqa'i sakinain is a problem in Arabic language. Two sukun is a problem. So we put a kasra, we say dhahabatil. Make sense? So something that I already explained to you, inshallah, it is easy. Any question here? So I'll just quickly pick out the lesson. So here we have الدرس الثاني عشر. All of these things we've done. كيف حالك يا بنت? How are you, or girl or daughter? Depends on the context. And as you know, after ya, we cannot say tanween. We cannot say ya bintun. You have to say ya bintu. Ana bi khairin, as you see, ana bi khairin. This is also very good expression, meanings I am fine. Bi khairin, I am fine. Alhamdulillah. So this is a preposition bi. You don't say ana bi khairun. You say ana bi khairin because of the preposition. So this is your first, in a way, lesson where we learn how to have simple conversation. Like this is called ta'arruf. You'll find this type of sentence or conversation in first lesson in other books like Madinah Arabic. So you should practice this one. This is very simple. Someone can ask you, you said that I'm studying Arabic language, then they might ask you right away, masmuka or masmuki. You have to say something. You can say ismi Amina or your name ismi whatever, right? Now, so it says Abi huna fil madinatil manawwara. So my father is here. Huna is here, and we have hunak is there in this Madinatul Munawwara, meaning in Medina. Huwa muwajjahun fil madrasatil thanawiyya. So this word, it means, you can check the dictionary, it means someone who does auditor, something like auditor. Muwajjahun, director. So whatever he said is fine. What else? We have here طبيبة في المستشفى الولادة. مستشفى is what? Hospital. And wilada is giving birth. So this is what do you call this? Birth center, something like that. No, so these are easy. You will also find these two words a lot. So we have al-madrasatul mutawassita and al-madrasatul thanawiyya. Mutawassita, it is the middle school. So we have al-madrasa. When it comes with the madrasa, then we have al-mutawassita. It is middle school. The school, I think, starts with what? 6, 7, 8, I think. These are the grades. And we have al-madrasa al-thanawiyya is secondary school, which is a high school. Naam. Yes, which is your 9 to 12. Now, as you can see, we have these verbs. Ummiki is your mother. Fil baytil an is your mother in the home right now. And you say la dhahabat. She went ila al-mustashfa. She went to the hospital. So here you cannot say dhahaba, then it would be grammatically wrong. These are very good exercise. This is where you put your haraka. Kayfa haluka ya abi? Aina ibnuki? Do you say aina ibnuka or ibnuki here? Read this one and tell me. Just tell me, do we put a fatha or kasra here in the kaf? Who is he talking to? Ya Zainabu. Zainab is what? Masculine or feminine? It's feminine, so you cannot say Aina ibnuka. You have to say ibnuki. Naam ahsantum. So there's a lot of this reading, guys. Super duper important. I'm skipping them because, I'm focusing on more on grammar. These are something that you cannot, if you haven't studied this book before, you cannot skip them. So read this one. Look at this one. Tilka sayyaratu. Now you tell me, what haraka do I put here in the Jamila at the end? Or you can also tell me, what is this one? Marfu or majrur or mansub? It would be a dhamma marfu, yes, because this is adjective phrase. Adjective will simply copy everything from the noun. As soon as you know what goes on the noun, then your adjective is very simple. Jamila is not mubtada. Jamila would be naat. Okay? If you go more technical way, this would be mubtada. Tilka would be mubtada. As-sayyara would be badal. And the jamila would be not. Anyway, those things, don't worry too much about this one. But you know that this is dhamma, and then your adjective needs to be a dhamma. So we have tilka sayyaratul jamilatu allati kharajat. Why do I say kharajat? Because it is allati, it's talking about the feminine, kharajat al-ana. But because we have alif lam here, so we should put a kasra here. Kharajat al-ana min al-madrasati lil mudiri. Subhanallah. So this one is very tricky. If you can really figure this sentence out, and Musannaf rahimahullah, he's not giving you easy stuffs here. So he's expecting you to get this thing used to it, because as you can see, this whole thing is one part, and this is your khabar. So this is not easy. This is your khabar, and this is your mubtada. So this is your mubtada. So you could have said, look, if I remove everything, you could have said tilka lil mudir. That one is for the director or the manager. We did exactly similar sentence in, I think, lesson 2, 3, or earlier. So you see the subject and the predicate mubtada and khabar, and what goes inside it is, the whole thing is describing that tilka. So this is a very important technique, a little bit advanced. You should read them and try to get used to them. Now, this is a mistake. They want you to change this dhamir. So we have aina qalamuka ya abi. Naam. So aina qalamuka ya abi. But you cannot say aina qalamuka ya ummi. So this is a mistake. They want to say to change this one. Okay. So please make a note. It should be aina qalamuki ya ummi. So that's what they want. You read this one. You say indaka qalamun ya Muhammad. Do you have a pen, or Muhammad? So you have to change this one. عندك قلم يا Amina. So good example or good exercise. You can do at least few of them. So this is another good exercise where you change the verb now. You say خرج محمد من البيت. The example here is خرجت آمنة من البيت. So you will change ذهب المدرس إلى الفصل. Then you say ذهبت مدرسة إلى الفصل. So once you change the verb, you have to change the file as well. So you have ذهب أبي إلى المستشفى. You will say ذهبت أمي إلى المستشفى. Very good exercise. And this is the one that you need to be reading, and make sure you can translate this one. Okay. Which is, he is using a lot of alladhi and allati. You say man al-fata alladhi kharaja min baytika al-an huwa ibn ammi. As you can see, this is a very good exercise, and I'm telling you, this is not easy. This is another very good example, which is that you have to put appropriate ismul mawsul. You put appropriate relative pronoun, alladhi or allati. So if you have al-kitab, what do you say? Alladhi or allati? You will say alladhi. Naam. Alladhi. So you say al-kitabu alladhi ala al-maktabi lil-mudarris. Very good. Here you will also say alladhi. Here you will say allati, alladhi, allati, tilka. Okay. Batta, tilka al-battatu allati tahta shajarati li bint bintil fallah. This is li, so we need a kasra here, and this is also kasra here. See the grammar, guys, grammar. So take your time, take your time. Just coming to class is very good, but it's not enough. Take your time, do that. Jayid. So we'll move to the next lesson, inshallah. Now the next lesson is pretty big. So I don't know if I have to stop in the middle or not. Yeah, this is a big one. With my pace, it's going to take a long time. Okay, let's start. Let's see what we can do. So we have now الدرس الثالث عشر. So 13th lesson. Now this is the lesson where the author will start talking about plurals. Plurals. Yeah. So far, every single noun that we dealt with, maybe just one or two exceptions, but every single noun that we dealt with was singular, mufrad. Okay, for example, we have rajul, or let's start walad, walad, waladun, a boy, rajulun, a man, bintun, a girl, baitun, a house. Naam. So as you can see, these are all singular. So this lesson, they will start talking about plural. But I have some kind of bad news about plural in Arabic language. Okay, before I give you the bad news, you have to know the plural in Arabic starts with three or more. So number two, anything that is two, it is not considered plural. It is considered dual. The author will mention about this one toward the end of this book. Okay, maybe chapter 18 or something like that. Okay, so right now, just know that when we say plural, we are talking about three or more, not two. So the bad news about plurals is that most of the plurals in Arabic is broken, meaning you kind of have to learn its plural as well. So in English, the plurals are very simple. We say boy, and we just add s, we say boys. Now, girl, girls. Sometimes we may have to add ex. For example, box, we say boxes. But again, it's not super complicated. And that some variation like leaf, and I think you say leaves, a little bit variations. So these are all, they will say they are not broken. It's very easy. There are some, nouns may be a little bit different. For example, we say man and we say man with the E. So this is not something that you change at the end. You actually change the word. Yes, this is a good example. So we have mouse. How do we say plural? We say mice. As you can see, so we only have few words that we change entire word. But Arabic, it is not the case. Most of the word will be broken. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that you have to learn the plural just like you learn the singular. This is the difficult part. Okay, it takes us long time to learn a word. Now guess what? We have to also learn its plural. So let's see. We learned how to say bint, which is a girl. What is girls? Banat. Banat. Banatun. Okay, so let's see. What about walad? Walad is a boy. How do we say boys? We say awlad. Naam, awlad. Awladun. Rajul is man. How do you say man? A plural? Rijal. Very good. Rijal. But the point is what? A lot of changes happening. And it's very difficult to find the patterns. There are patterns, but there are like 15, 20 of them. So those patterns are not helping us. In English, we only had few patterns like as, es, or few things here and there. But in Arabic, it is almost impossible to find a pattern in the beginning stage. So in the beginning stage, the teacher will just say, just memorize them. Okay, memorize together. So for example, we have bait, which is a house. How do we say plural? Buyut, ahsant. So buyut. buyut. So do you see any patterns? Not really. Banat, awlad, rijal, buyut. There are patterns, but it is very difficult to find in this stage. So we have to memorize them. So from now on, whenever we find a noun, inshallah, we will also try to learn its plural at the same time. We'll learn bintun, banatun, awlad, sorry, walad, awlad, rajul, rijal, bait, buyut. Okay? So now, just like the book, this book starts with demonstrative pronoun, hada. The first lesson started with hada. Now here, the plural, he's starting with haulai. This is the plural of hada. You still have a small alif here, so you don't say ha, you say ha. Just like same ha. Both of these are same ha. Okay? So we say hada and we have haulai. So now, pretty sure you have heard this haulai in the Quran a lot, so you know it is talking about plural. So these, okay, these, naam. So this is this, and this is these. Now, is it exactly like these in Arabic language, just like in English? To be honest with you, this is exactly like English, and I'll tell you why. Because remember, last time we had a problem with hada, with English. What was the problem with hada? We said that hada is this, but we had a problem with English definition of this is because this in English we say for masculine and feminine, but hada was only for masculine. Now we had to use hadihi for feminine, but haulai, it is for both masculine and feminine. Okay, so this one is good. We can use just like these. It is for both masculine and for feminine. So let's see what the author says. He says, هؤلاء ismu ishara. So this is the demonstrative pronoun. Lil jam. Jam is the plural. Remember, all this time we saw lil mufrad for singular. So this is the first time he says lil jam for the plural. Al qarib for the near. As you know, these, this is also in English for the something that is near. So he said those for the far. So we have al qarib means near, al aqil. So it has to be okay. So there is a little bit difference. So it has to be for the human being, because in English we say these for the non-human as well. We say these are pen, these are new pen, these are my book, my books. Now, so we can use these for object, but in Arabic, no. Haulai is only for aqil. How do we say for non-aqil? Inshallah, we'll learn them. This is a little bit tricky. Not in this lesson, maybe in the next lesson. So this is for aqil, but here is the thing. For mudhakkar and for muannath. For masculine and for feminine. So remember, haulai is only for human being and for masculine and feminine. Again, right now we're using the term human being very loose way. It is the proper term is aqil, meaning it can be used for angels and the jinns as well. Someone who has that type of intellectual. Here's your example. Hada rajulun. This is how we started the lesson one. Now we can say haulai rijalun. So now, as you can see, you have to learn the plural of all the vocabs that we memorized. Rajul, rijal. Hada tabibun. This is a doctor. How do we say doctors? It's not easy. We say haulai atibba. Pretty hard. Naam. So tabib, atibba. As you can see, hada tawilun. Tawil is what? Tall. And this is an adjective. We have a bad news. We also have plural for adjective. So we say haulai tiwalun. So these are talls. So what about the tall? Is tall man or something like that. So remember the word we had jadid, jadid, which is new. We have to learn the plural is judud, which is new for the plural. Now we for the feminine, we say hadhihi. Here we said hada, we say hadhihi ukhtun. But guess what? We can use the same demonstrative pronoun. We can say haulai akhawatun. Ukht akhawat. Plural, plural. هذا شيخ هؤلاء شيوخ. Sheikh, shuyukh. So we have to do a lot of work memorizing the plurals. We have هذه طبيبة. This is a female doctor. Now we have هؤلاء طبيبات. So these are female doctors. Inshallah, the book will soon talk about that there are types of plural. Not every single plurals are broken plural. Just like in English, we can add s or es to make a plural. Arabic also has something similar notions where we add something at the end to make it into plural. Inshallah, we'll talk about those things. We have a sound plural and a broken plural. This would be a sound plural. Inshallah, I will explain to you later. So, but here's another thing to note. We have هذه طويلة. See, here we said هذا طويل. This is a tall. Now we have هذه طويلة. We have to change the gender because now we are talking about something that is feminine. But just like how we said that هؤلاء is for both masculine and feminine, but some of the plural for adjective we can also use for masculine and plural. Sorry, masculine and feminine. So although this is tawila, we're referring to female and its plural is tiwal, we can also use the same, as you can see, we can use the same adjective. Same thing would be for judud. We can say هذه طالبة جديدة, or you can say هذه جديدة, and you can say هؤلاء جدد for the female as well. Inshallah, you will learn them, but this is something to keep in your mind. Main thing that you have to keep in your mind right now is that هؤلاء for both masculine and feminine. Okay, these things inshallah you'll come later. I just don't want to overburden you right now. But هؤلاء is for both masculine and feminine. Okay, so you have your first plural introduction. Make sure you know a few things. Plural starts with number 3. So as soon as we say هؤلاء, you're thinking about 3 or more people. Simple as that. Now we have the plural for huwa. Remember we had huwa. Huwa is he. Now whom is they. Okay, so this is how we say they. Whom ضمير جمع الغائب. So last time we said مفرد الغائب. Now we're saying جمع الغائب. So plural of غائب. So third person. المذكر. So this is they for masculine. Al-aqil. And whom we also use for aqil. So a lot of things to keep in your mind. So remember what we said. Huwa. We say huwa rajulun. Now he is a man. We can also say huwa kitabun. It is a book. Remember we talked about last time that we don't have a it in Arabic language, so we need to use one of these pronoun to replace. What are the two pronouns we have? Huwa or hiya. So which one do we use based on the gender? So we can say hiya. We say hiya haqibatun. Haqibatun. So what is here? Is it she is a bag? No, we're saying it is a bag, but we don't have any it, so we can use here in this situation because this is feminine, we say here, and this is masculine, we say huwa. Huwa we can use for aqil and ghair aqil. But what he's saying is that whom we cannot use for ghair aqil. So we cannot say whom, for example. What is the plural for kitab? It's in the Quran, kutub, naam. So do we say whom kutubun? No, we cannot say it. What do we say? Inshallah, we'll learn it later. So I don't want to give you too much already because it's a lot of stuff. So just make sure you understand that whom is only for human being, like aqil. Okay, so that's what he says. It is for the plural of the ghaib, third person. So it is basically plural of huwa, and it is for masculine, and it is for aqil. So example, man haula'i, who are those? Okay, now we say they are. Whom? Tujjar. So this is the plural of tajir. So now you have to learn a lot of plural, guys, a lot of plural. Tajir is the businessman, tujjar is the plural. So you say whom. Aina zumalauka. So this is the plural of zamil. Zamil is a classmate. Now the plural is zumala. So he's asking, Aina zumalauka? Where are your classmates? Whom? They are mahja. Mahja is what do you call dorm. So they are in the dorm. Man haula'i? Who are those? Ahum abna'uka? What is abna? Abna is plural of ibn. A lot of plurals, guys. You have to let me see your dictionary. What you should do from now on, this is good. Right now, he is separating them. That's very nice. So you have minister, wazir, and then he is giving you plural, wuzara, ummahat. Okay. Um, Qawi, aqwiya. So that's nice. So he's giving you as a separate word. So this is nice. So you can use that like that. But if you're writing down in your notebook, so you will just if you had walad, for example, you will just write maybe a slash and you say awlad, just to know that this is your plural. So you can also do it like that. This is good that they are giving you plural as well. So for example, ab is father, aba is the plural of father. Sheikh, shuyukh, Daif, Diyaf. So very nice. You refer to this dictionary for your plurals. So we have hum abna'u akhi. They are my brother's son. So what is my brother's son? Huh? What is the English word? Nephew, yes. So they're nephews. So they don't have any special word for that. You have to say ibn akhi. Ibn akhi is my nephew. And then we have Aina Tullabul Judud. Where are the new students? You see, now we cannot say Jadid because this is an adjective phrase. Where are the new students? The new students. Okay. The new student was a Talibu al Jadid. New students is a Tullab. Tullab is the plural of Talib. At-Tullab al-Judud. Judud is plural of Jadid, which I just told you before. Now, بعضهم. بعض is very important word. Some. بعضهم, some of them. بعضهم في الفصل. Some of them are in the class. وبعضهم عند المدير. And some of them are at, here you cannot say director, you can say, what is it? Principal, maybe. Because in the class, we don't have a director, we have a principal. Make sense? Now. The next section, he says إضافة الأسماء إلى الاسم الظاهر والضمير. Basically, he's talking about إضافة, where you have مضاف إليه, either اسم ظاهر is a noun and or pronoun. So when you add إضافة, the مضاف إليه can be اسم ظاهر. If you translate word for word, it would be clear or apparent or explicit. Any one of them will make sense. Explicit noun. Or just say noun. The noun will be fine. What he means is that saying, for example, kitabu Muhammadin. So this is zahir. Your noun is clear, it's there. Versus saying kitabuhu. So this is your pronoun. That's what he means. Makes sense? So book of who, here who, kitabuhu, is pronoun, but it is not explicit. It's implicit. You have to know where the who goes to. But when you say kitabu Muhammad, then this is very explicit. So you can simply say noun and pronoun. Then I think it will be easy. So he gives you example. Al-ismu zahir. You have Muhammad, أصدقاء, الطلاب, إلى آخره. So this is when you write like this, ilach, it means ila akhirihi, meaning etc. in a way. Okay, like etc. And dhamir, we already know what dhamir is. Huwa, hum, ka, ki. These are all dhamir, dhamair, plurals. Ya of mutakallim. We already know them, right? So main thing he's trying to give you a little bit of technical terms, ismu dhahir and dhamir. Why? Because this would be important when you talk about a grammatical point, especially when you deal with fa'al. So now we have al-idafatu ila al-ism dhahir. So for example, we have abna'u Muhammadin. So as you can see, this is ism dhahir, meaning explicit noun. So the sons of Muhammad. Zumala'u Hamid, the classmates of Hamid. Asdiqa'u al-mudarris, the friends of the teacher. Asma'u tullab, the names of the students. So pay attention to the plurals. Asma is a plural of isim. And tullab, I already gave it to you. Asdiqa is the plural of sadiq. Sadiqun. Okay. Zumala is plural of zamil. You already know. So a lot of plurals. Kitabul mudir. So mudir is zahir. Now we have al-idafatu ila dhamir. So making idafa with pronouns. Abna'uhu. So this is an idafa, which we already learned. Abna'uhum. So as you can see now, here's something that he's not mentioning. The muttasil and munfasil of whom, meaning attached and detached pronoun of whom is the same thing. So which is nice. So whom is both attached pronoun and it is also detached pronouns. So what's the difference? One is detached, you will say whom tullabun, their students. When it is attached, you just attach it. Kitabuhum. Okay, kitabuhum. So it comes at the end. But the word, the spelling is the same thing. Yeah, obviously state is different. Yes, very good point. For example, when we have whom here, whom tullabun, what is whom? It would be marfu because it is mubtada. But what is the state of whom here? Kitabuhum. Who knows? Who remembers those terms that I gave you last time? Yes, state is jar. So we say majrur. Naam. So this would be majrur. Very good point. So they are different state, but the spelling is the same. That's all. This one, detached would have been whom. Oh, sorry, huwa. But this one is whom and whom, the same thing. Abna'uhu, abna'uhum. Abna'uka. So your sons. Abna'i, my sons. Kitabuhu, his book. Kitabuhum, their book. Kitabuka, your book. So kitabi, my book. So I think you know them. Now, he's showing you something here. Abna'u Muhammadin. So abna is mudaf. Muhammadin is mudaf ilayhi. Something that we learned in lesson 4. So it is extremely simple. But now he's making sure that you also understand that abna'u is also mudaf and this who is mudaf ilayhi, which we also learned previously. So it should be simply a review for us. Abna'uka is mudaf and ka is mudaf ilayhi. Kitabi is mudaf and this ya is mudaf ilayhi. And I also mentioned to you is that pronouns, remember, pronouns are fixed at the end. So we do not change haraka. So do not try to put a kasra in pronouns. Any types of pronoun, whether it's demonstrative, relative, connect, attached, detached, doesn't matter. Any types of pronoun like hada, alladhi, huwa, ka. You understand? So any types of pronoun, they will be fixed. In Arabic, we call mabni. Okay, so inshallah we'll learn them, but right now we don't have to learn those topics, but as long you know that they're fixed, so we cannot change. Here we didn't have a problem because Muhammad is not a pronoun. This is a noun, it's ismu dhahir. So we can say abna'u Muhammadin. But this is your pronoun. We don't say abna'uhi to make a kasra. No, we don't. We already talked about this one. So please make sure you understand this. There's no way with my pace, I will not be able to finish in half hour. I will also have to go back to the books. The book is also pretty, this chapter is pretty big. See, it also, whenever the chapter gives you a section like section A, Hamza, you know it's going to be a big one. Look at this one. Oh my Allah Mustaan. This is still section one. uh, Here comes section two. So it is a big one. Now, and then we have a three section in here. So we'll leave this one for next time, inshallah.